mistaken belief that they're funny.
Comedians have arsenals of jokes that put rude people in their place and redirect the flow of conversation. Even when there isn't a conflict, when a joke lands and everybody laughs, there's that period of space where you can lead the conversation wherever you like. So in this video, we're going to look at 3 specific types of jokes that Russell Brand uses to masterfully control a confrontation on MSNBC. We're also going to see how you can use these same jokes to confidently steer conversations in your own life. And FYI, this is actually part 2 of a series since the first video I did on this topic ran long. So, the first type of joke is best used to diffuse tense situations before they get out of hand. It also generally makes any situation funnier, so it's the most widely applicable, and it's unpointed wit. This is a popular style, for instance, with Conan O'Brien.
I have the legs of an NBA center, and I have the torso of a little girl. And you know what? She's not even a healthy little girl. She was born in the 1840s. Her name's Molly, and she has rickets.
Now, I say unpointed because you're not using this wit like Winston Churchill did to destroy someone. In his case, when Nancy Astor told him, "If I were your wife, I would poison your coffee," he replied, "And if I were your husband, I'd drink it." Now, that is very witty, but pointed jokes like that escalate tension. They don't diffuse it. So instead, you're going to be replying with a type of wit that gets a chuckle, not at someone's expense, so that they actually cool off. And there are tons of ways to be witty, but the easiest is with your word choice, by being hyper-specific. Watch how Russell chooses odd words that make it hard not to smirk.
I hope that I'm here as a fully qualified professional gentleman.
None of us are.
Free from mental illness.
Free from it.
Reading right now. They're tweeting themselves senseless back there.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's to create the atmosphere of we're a hotbed of news.
Working news. Yeah.
He also uses less common words for the same effect.
None of you, this is a hotbed of neurosis and psychosis.
Yes.
Oh, my word, I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah.
You're talking about me as if
And
I'm not
transfixed.
here and as if I'm an extraterrestrial.
Following Russell's lead, you can simply choose more uncommon words, extraterrestrial instead of alien, neurotic instead of crazy, and the end result is that people smirk, and it breaks the tension that might be mounting. It's also a generally good idea for being funnier in any situation. The second type of joke is best used when you are forced to discuss a topic that you would rather not. Maybe someone is bringing up an insecurity or just being plain rude. In those cases, you want to redirect things without calling the other person out directly, and that's where purposeful misinterpretation comes in huge. For instance, when the host demands that Russell show him part of his stand-up routine, Russell doesn't want to. He says no.
Can't we get 30 seconds now?
Well, not really, love.
But when the hosts persist, Russell uses purposeful misinterpretation to take control of the conversation and move on.
I mean,
Gandhi,
this isn't
go.
how it works. Gandhi, go. I hope that's not your message to Gandhi and the people of India.
Misinterpretation can also be seen when you shift the focus of what is most obvious in any situation to something that is far less obvious. You see it again in another clip that we touched on in part 1, but it's worth calling out here so you can see it in action. In this case, members of the Westboro Baptist Church made a very offensive poster that was a gift for Russell. And rather than focusing immediately on the poster's obviously upsetting contents, Russell shifted his focus to something minor, taking back control of the frame and the conversation.
That's not a very flattering photograph.
The face you made the face.
I made the face, I paid the price. Fair enough. That's true.
So remember, in any situation, even when someone is being insulting, you have control over what aspect of their speech you respond to. You can actually control the frame. And if you choose not to focus on the obvious piece and instead purposely misinterpret their intent, perhaps focusing on a minor detail or reading it as a compliment, you upset expectations, which then gets a laugh and allows you to retake control. And in this case, Tyrion Lannister had it nailed.
How would you like to die, Tyrion, son of Tywin? My own bed, at the age of 80, with a belly full of wine and a girl's mouth around my...
So if you find yourself in a situation where someone is being sarcastic or trying to put you down by saying something like, "Nice job," or "Geez, you really killed that one," you can make the group laugh and take back control of the conversation by simply taking the comment at face value. So you might reply, "Thanks, I appreciate you noticing." This shows that even if you've made a mistake, you are still unfazed by it and in control of the situation. Now, if things get a bit more dicey, you have another option, and this is sarcasm. Sarcasm in this context is when the literal words that you are saying don't match the implied meaning. And it's a way of saying something nice on the surface with less than kind undertones. So it's not as harsh as a direct insult, but it's still likely to make an impact on the other person.
We're just sort of admiring the whole, it's the whole thing.
Well, thank you for your casual
It's
objectification.
an experience.
I've warned against against sarcasm in the past because it's generally easy to upset people even when you might not mean to. And usually all the British people hate me in the comments for that advice because it's like a second language over there. So let's just say that this advice for avoiding sarcasm with people you don't know well generally holds true inside of the United States. But it does have its place in dealing with rude people. So if you use it, you might want to just consider softening it with a smile, like Russell does.
Is this what you all do for a living?
Yes.
These people, I'm sure, are typically very, very good at their job. What is it? You're conveying news to the people of America. Yeah. People of America, we're going to be okay. Everything's all right.
Either way, this type of joke is usually much more effective for winning an audience over than it is for making the person you're talking to actually like you. So use it sparingly and ideally with a cheeky grin. For instance, if someone is being rude to you, you could say, "Wow, so glad that we're getting the opportunity to hang out." That usually will make them stop in their tracks. A hugely important part of being quick on your feet like that is the ability to stay calm under pressure, and a fantastic tool for getting there is meditation. And that is why I have asked Simple Habit to sponsor this video and give you a free week of guided meditations on their app. Now, Simple Habit has tons of different guided meditations, and I have personally really enjoyed the ones around cultivating more joy and gratitude. And I enjoyed them so much that I actually created one specifically for our viewers that is designed to tap into a deep sense of confidence and charisma before you have to head out to a situation where you're likely to feel pressure, so you know that you will be on. And if you want to check out that meditation, the one that I created, and all of the others for free for 7 days, you can do so by tapping the link in the description. And if you do that on your phone, it's going to work better since this is an app. If you decide that you like the meditations and you want to build a routine and a habit of listening to one, which is a great way to begin your day, you can continue with Simple Habit for just $11.99 a month, and that includes all of their meditations. Either way, the free trial gives you a chance to test it out, see if it's for you, before you have to make a decision, so it's worth taking for a spin. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed.
True. Do you think the rich pay their fair share in taxes? Do the rich pay their fair share in taxes?
Absolutely fucking not. In America, in the United States, absolutely not.
Absolutely not fair if all things are considered.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
No chance.
No, absolutely not.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, no.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
The problem with a lot of them is that they just would rather
Then be
they'd
rich.
rather be dead than see poor people be rich or be well off.
I mean, I know people in America think of Gaddafi as a negative guy, but let's go back to Libya. Libya, free education, free electricity.
Gaddafi was slaughtering people in the
He was
streets.
slaughtering people in the streets.
So it's six of this, half dozen of the other.
I just think capitalism is stupid and it doesn't work. I mean, obviously, look at our country, it doesn't work.
Okay, can we pause it there for 1 second? My favorite is when people who are wearing things that they bought at a store that are much nicer than anything they could get in a communist country are like, capitalism obviously doesn't work. She said while wearing a sweatshirt that she got at a store and sunglasses she got at a store and carrying a purse that she got at a store. Yes, communism is obvious. Just look at our country. It doesn't work. Yes.
How is it possible for billionaires to even exist in this country?
And you've got the most starving, suffering people in the richest country in the world.
Now, wait a second. You come to Zimbabwe. More people are starving in Zimbabwe than here.
They sold me a lemon.
Okay, stop there. Wait, if you come from Zimbabwe to the United States and then you think that you were sold a lemon, you're not on this planet. Zimbabwe is one of the worst places to live on the planet. Also, like, I noticed that you have some sunglasses, nice Nike sweatshirt right there. Like, the notion that other places around the world are better than the United States is rooted in either insanity or complete ignorance. We have the most starving people on the planet? No, we absolutely 100% do not. We do not have nearly the number of starving people that pretty much every other country on the planet has, which is why people were clamoring to get here. I noticed there was not a lot of reverse immigration from the United States to Zimbabwe, for example.
I just think people shouldn't even be able to make as much money as they do.
Do you think there should be a cap on income?
Yes, fully.
What we're looking at is serfdom.
What percentage should be paid by the top 1%?
Probably 60%.
70 or 80%.
If they could kick it up to 75 to 80, that would be good, man.
Hit them up for 80%.
They need to be thinking tax.
Well, what's wrong with 90%?
90% is, I like you. I love you, man. 90%. That's 90%.
95%?
Dude,
They can live on 5%.
I think they can live on 5%, man. I get where you're going with this.
they literally don't have that money to pay in the first place.
Stop
Why do
this.
you think-
It makes me sad for democracy. I mean, truly, this makes me sad for democracy. That people want to make tax policy. What do you think that people who are richer than you should pay? Everything. 120% of their wealth. Why should they have more money than I am? I mean, here I am in the middle of the day in a park. I assume this is a work day. Like, maybe they have more money than you because they're not walking around in a park in the middle of the day. Maybe.
So, do you think that the poor pay a higher percentage of their income,
Yes.
or the rich
They do pay higher percentage.
The poor.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Oh, the lower class, definitely.
pay more?
Yeah.
Lower income people. Poor people.
The 1% earn about 25% of all the income in America.
So there you go. If we're talking about fair share, then you know if you're bringing in 25% of the income, 25% of the taxes should also.
That would be fair.
Yeah, I would.
So yeah. And would you be surprised if I told you that the top 1% pay 40% of all taxes?
Yeah.
Would it surprise you if I said the rich, the 1%, pay 40% of all taxes in America?
Interesting. What's the price? Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It's a little more fair than you might have thought.
Yeah.
What percent of income do you think the top 1% pay?
I think they're paying like freaking 2% of that.
They're paying 27%.
What?
27%. What percent of their income do you think people at the 50% and below pay?
Probably higher than 27%. It gets higher the lower your income comes.
Wait, so wait the number is.
I think it's probably over 50.
It's 4%.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I love that interesting is the code word for I'm an idiot. Interesting is like, oh, yeah, that is interesting. Well, I mean, I'm still going to vote for all the same politicians who've been lying to me. And I'm still going to say next time somebody asks me on the street that the rich pay more taxes, but it is interesting that you're completely exploding my worldview with like one sentence. Sure. Interesting. Interesting. Always interesting.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Yeah. I need to study up more on this, man.
Good for him. All right. Let's see. It's a good for that guy. All right.
Numbers.
Does that surprise you?
Yes.
Does that seem more fair?
Yeah, it would be pretty fair.
Oh wow. Yes.